Good boy. Hello, welcome back to Sage and Stone Homestead. My name is Heather. I'm prepared. I don't know where my dog is. We have a Great Pyrenees, a livestock guardian that absolutely loves this kind of weather. Speak of the devil, how you doing, baby? Hi, boys. I'll send Molly out in just a minute, okay? I forgot to look at the thermometer to see exactly how cold it is right now. It doesn't feel too bad, however cold it is. It's got to be somewhere in the teens. It's a dry type cold, which always feels better than a wet type cold, and we don't really have any wind, which also helps. Everything is frozen. Now, these are frost tolerant plants, but they do have their limits. Right now it's just below 30, so it's not too horrible in here, so they'll probably be okay. These plants are decently large and established, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. I don't know. I always hate it when I see plants get that dark coloration once they freeze, and we have to wait until they're thawed out to see if they're going to be okay. The snow that's covering the greenhouse right now is also kind of building up in drifts around the outside of it, and the snow I absolutely was hoping would come. A lot of people were wondering why I was really hoping for snow, and a really big part of that is the fact that snow is very insulating, and so underneath the baseboards here there is a little bit of a gap, and so even with the sides down, if the wind is blowing and there's nothing to kind of buffer in that gap, you know, the cold air blows in here, the heat can escape through those gaps. And so having snow to cover that up really helps, and this snow dome over top here does just help keep any kind of heat that is in here stay in here pretty well. So I probably won't open the greenhouse up for another couple of days. I think we come up above freezing on Thursday. So we'll just let them sit tight. I have had quite a lot of people ask me how the bees are doing. The answer is not great. I had started out the year with 7 honeybee colonies. We are down to 2, so a lot of the colonies you see here, these are just empty boxes. There's no bees in them. We had an issue with some kind of colony collapse disorder. It very well could be my fault. I didn't really beekeep at all this year. I just sort of let the bees be. Any kind of swarms that I saw, I did catch, but I didn't actually do hive inspections, so I didn't take care of the bees like I should. And so I don't think there's any like conspiracy to why my bees are not doing so well. I really think it's, you know, the fault of the beekeeper. This hive is living though. There's bees in there. When it's really cold, they're clustered up inside. And you can actually hear them if you put your ear up against the box. They're in there. And you don't want to do this super often, but if you walk by the box in the cold when they're clusters and just kind of knock on it, they'll make kind of a large buzzing sound, and you know they're alive then. So we just did that. Those bees are good. They're good for now. And then I have another colony sitting down here. This is a swarm I caught in the year, earlier in the year. You can tell that there's not really snow that's settled down by the entrance. Probably because there's a lot of heat coming out of there, just from the colony. I don't really know if we'll get both of those colonies through winter. We're just gonna have to see. Hello, how are you? Hey girls. Excuse me, I gotta come in. Hello. You girls look cozy. Your water's liquid. Hi. need some hay, Tori? Yeah, there's still hay out here. Oh my goodness. So if you don't have access to those rubber bowls where the ice kind of squishes out of them pretty easily, or you're having just a problem in general getting ice to come out of bowls when you really need to fill them up with fresh water, dunking them in a heated trough like that, it's warm enough to, you know, remove that ice and to pop it out, but it's not so warm that it's going to crack the glass or the ceramic in this case. You can do the same thing with a 5-gallon bucket, but put cold water in it. Don't put hot water in it. Hey boys, how's it going, Mr. Arizona? Yeah, it snowed at your house before it snowed at our house. It did. It snowed in Arizona. Yeah. Carol, you don't have to eat snow, babe. Look, it's water. Do you need it in your house? They're not really coming out here to eat this hay either. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go eat. The thing that's going to keep ruminants the warmest is ruminating, so making sure that the goats have access to hay at all times. It's always important, but especially when they're super cold. That means you need to go eat. Go eat. This one is full of ice. So I'll be bringing this inside so it can thaw out. I can dump it out and replace that bucket later on. In the past, I have been known to throw buckets up in the air and let them fall and have the ice crack. It's also a good way to crack your bucket, which is not advised. Doesn't hold water that way. My timer. The bread is done. You had your treat. Yes, you did. You had it. They're like stuck on sunglasses mode. Usually I get a little bit more of a rise out of my bread, but it's been so cold that it didn't rise as much. I really like my bread loaves to be soft. I'm not the biggest fan of those crusty sourdough bowls. I like them when I am going to be dunking them in soup or something to soften them up. For my sandwich loaves, I like them to be soft. We'll put this butter on and let it kind of melt into the crust, and it also helps improve the flavor too.
I thought you used our butter for that.
I ran out of goat butter. Got some warm bread in the belly, and it's time to go out and milk. How are you doing? You're loving life, clearly. Come on. Come on, let's go. So it turns out I was wrong about the temperature earlier. It was 7 degrees when we came out the first time, and it has warmed up to 10 degrees right now. What a good boy you are. I'm a good boy. At least a few goats year round. I like to be in a constant supply of fresh milk. We only milk once a day, so it makes managing situations like this severe cold a lot easier. Milking in the cold really is not a big deal. Udders are very warm. The goat's body temperature is around 103 degrees, and so this is nice and toasty. My fingers are probably cold for her, but she doesn't seem to care. I do have an electric milker that is on wheels. It's on a cart. That would be such a pain in the butt to bring out here. I could do it, but thankfully I don't have to. I'm only milking 3 right now. 3 Nigerians. They're not producing a whole ton. So I'm getting about a little more than 6 cups a day. And I can do that by hand quite easily, which is good because it is easier when you have fewer goats with less milk not to have to deal with that machine, especially in this weather. I've timed it before, and each goat takes around 2 to 3 minutes to milk out, which is not bad at all. So it's not like I'm out here for a really long time because I have to milk. I'm out here anyways because we need to make sure that their water is liquid, that they have hay, and all the things. So this adding milking to the mix really is not a big deal. We clean our girls' udders down with these natural care wipes. Any kind of baby wipe that's unscented is good for me. It's a good idea to remember to bring the whole pack inside though, or else these will be frozen in no time flat. Wouldn't work for tomorrow. They don't make as much milk in severe temperature situations, so when it's really cold or when it's really hot in my experience. So we might not get as much, but that's okay. They are working on staying warm, and that's really the most important thing. And they're doing a pretty good job at it. Most of my goats have an undercoat of cashmere. It's really fluffy and soft and very insulating. See how she's kind of hunched. She's shivering a little bit too, but this is kind of a normal stance for goats in the cold. She's gonna be all right. Go. You guys tipped your water, because of course you did. Go on. It's in there. I put it in the hay rack. Don't eat the people. There you go. It's cozy in your house, isn't it? It is. I am going to keep this over here where it's clipped. Well, it's there for them when they want it. See you guys in a few hours. Drink some water while it's liquid, okay? Okay. Aha, I got it. There we go. This here is a freeze-free hydrant, so when it's not in use, the water does stay liquid because it goes underneath the ground. And then when we need it, we open it up and it comes up above ground and it goes through this flexible hose here, and then it comes through the wall down into the water trough. One of the hardest things to manage when the weather gets like this is liquid water around the homestead. So easily one of the best pieces of infrastructure that we've put in on this homestead was underground water lines, freeze-free hydrants around more places than just the garden, because really the garden doesn't need it this time of year. The animals do. So we have this one here. There is one over at the greenhouse. And then I do have one set up in one of our furthest pastures, but we don't have anybody in that right now. But it's nice to have so that we don't have to tote, you know, buckets of water around everywhere. I still have to do it a little bit, but it's nothing compared to what we used to have to do. We don't poop in my bucket, right, Elpis? Right? My pretty girl. Are you staying warm? One of the things that can happen with these, if you're not paying attention, is you can shut the water off. And if your hose is inside your trough, it can literally suck all of the water, like siphon it back down into the ground, and your entire trough will be empty. I've done that before. That's the reason that I have this little stopper here, and I closed that off. It was frozen a little bit earlier, but pouring the warm water on it helped. I bet though, closing this and opening that side, that's probably gonna prevent the siphoning. Just gonna give this a squeeze and a shake to make sure the water is out of it. One of the things with the quail in the cold is that their poops do not fall down through this mesh as easily as they do when it's not freezing outside, and usually the eggs freeze faster than we can get to them. Even if I come out every couple of hours, these eggs are so small that they crack. These are actually fine to eat, you just have to refrigerate them. What I'll probably do is thaw them out inside like a dish or something, take the shells out, and then maybe scramble them for breakfast tomorrow. See that crack there? I'm gonna stick them in my pocket. It's pretty low risk of getting a pocket omelet in this situation, as long as I don't forget to take them out.